Voters across the country will hit the polls tomorrow morning. One local race could change the makeup of Congress.
We hear from Illinois' 16th District candidates with another preview from your local election headquarters.
The 16th Congressional District has an interesting makeup. It used to stretch from the Mississippi River east into McHenry County, and it included all of Rockford. Then, after the 2010 census, politicians redrew boundaries and split the city roughly east of Prospect and north of Harrison Avenue. Now the district stretches as far south as Pontiac and as far east as the Indiana border. No one knows that better than the two candidates running to represent the district.
Running for office is part of our public service as citizens.
I saw this as an extension of service and a way to continue to serve the country I love.
Voters elected Republican Adam Kinzinger to Congress in 2010. He's represented the 16th District since 2013. Kinzinger's proud of the push to rebuild the military and of how strong the economy is now. Unemployment is at record lows, and the stock market, while volatile recently, is stronger than it's ever been.
The reality is the American economy is resilient. But if you look at 8 years of President Obama, I mean, yeah, we had growth. It was pretty anemic. Even the administration at points talked about the fact that you wouldn't see 3% economic growth again. We've seen some massive growth now.
Democrat Sarah Dady was inspired to run by her Republican parents. She acknowledges unemployment is low, but points out Americans' pay has been flat. Her priority is to get an increase for the middle class.
Someone who works full-time should not qualify for public benefits, but they do, because minimum wage is too low. If it had kept up with inflation, it would be about $11 an hour. If it had kept up with American worker productivity, it would be about $19 an hour. 15 is a reasonable compromise for a federal minimum wage.
Dady also supports universal health care, Medicare for all. She believes that could help remove the health care burden from business owners and solve other problems like the opioid epidemic. Dady says the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, was a step toward that coverage.
But the underlying problem remained the same, that our whole system is premised on private insurers whose only goal is to make a profit. You can't make a profit off of sick people, and people get sick.
Kinzinger counters competition is the best way to get rising healthcare costs under control.
I think healthcare providers have to and should be required to tell you exactly what your healthcare costs. Right now, if you go in for a broken arm or so, you have no idea what you're going to pay. All you care about is your copay. I think if we can have people competitively shop, we drive up quality, we drive down costs like happens in every sector of the country except healthcare, which has been immune from the free market.
The candidates also have opposing views on immigration. They agree there needs to be reform. Dady's law practice focuses on immigration. She argues fixing the process would by default secure the border.
Immigration should be the least controversial issue in our country. We simply need a streamlined process, and we need laws that work. There's broad bipartisan support, which would provide for legalization of the people who are here and fully integrated into our communities. If you give people a lawful way to come, they're going to come a lawful way.
I voted twice to fix it over the summer, and unfortunately those bills didn't pass. It was a big disappointment. But you have to secure the border. That's a wall in some place. That's a virtual wall in places. I've worked the border. It is not secure, and I'll argue with anybody that thinks it is, because it's not. I've seen it.
If you missed our other previews of the big races, catch them all online at mystateline.com. That's also where you can get up-to-the-minute results tomorrow night as the votes roll in and figure out where your polling place is.